Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I am a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel, and this video is about the September 2019 new moon in Libra for Twin Flames. This new moon occurs on September 28th, 2019 at 2:26 p.m. Eastern Time, Greenwich Mean Time, that's about 8:26 p.m. And Pacific Time, we're looking at 11:26 a.m. This is a big new moon, a really big one, and an extremely important one for twin flames. Um, First of all, before I kind of get into this, if you have not listened to the general new moon video for this particular new moon, especially if you are a woman, um, or you are incarnate in a female body, whether you're divine masculine or divine feminine, I encourage you to go listen to it. I talk very specifically and directly, whether you are a woman of childbearing age or a woman in her wisdom years, about how to utilize the energy of this new moon to amplify that which you want to create and manifest through your feminine energy and the feminine energy inside your cellular structures as a woman. So I won't be getting into that in this video, but I think, especially if you've been struggling in any way in this relationship year or this year in relationships, that's going to help you out a lot. That particular topic of conversation, how to use the energies of this new moon as a woman. So, because this particular new moon is happening in the very feminine sign of Libra with Venus, this particular new moon is also a setup for Juno's extra long stay, the partnership's asteroid's extra long stay in the partnership sign. Correction, Libra is a masculine sign. Nonetheless, we have a lot of feminine energy here with a new moon and Venus inside Libra. Not only that, but this is going to be a setup for an extra long stay of Juno, the partnership asteroid that I use to read the Divine Feminine's journey. An extra long stay of Juno inside the sign of partnership. So before we jump to union conclusions, for many of you, it will mean that a union is imminent. For many of you, it will mean a prolonged period of separation, depending upon what's going on in your charts. But before we jump to conclusions, what I will say is that this new moon and the energies surrounding it are a energetic setup, paving the way, a setting of the stage for Juno's stay, the partnership asteroid stay in the partnership sign. So pay attention, pay very close attention to what's happening at this new moon. And also, for reasons I'm about to explain, it's going to be extremely important for the light workers known as twin flames to be as exceptionally careful with your mind and your words. So let's get into it. Let's see. The first thing that really jumps out. Okay. Is that, oh gosh, there's so much. This moon taking place at the 5th degree of Libra hosts the moon, the sun, and the shaman's asteroid. So let's just take a peek at what this asteroid has to say about Makemake, because it's important as it pertains to the way this energy plays out and the journey that we've all been on. As the creation god of the Rapa Nui, Makemake is the connection with the environmental sagacity. That's a lot of words. Okay, let's just skip ahead a little bit. The myth involving their creation god includes a form of worship in which a birdman was selected from tribal elders each year. What the person would be required to do, they would select a representative from the best of the young warriors. Those young warriors would be required to climb a large cliff. After they climbed the cliff, then they would have to jump off the cliff, swim to a neighboring islet. A dangerous journey. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to do that. Although some would say that the twin flame journey is this. While you're swimming, you'd have to wear a headdress designed for the purpose of fetching the first bird egg of the season, meaning you then have to climb a tree after you have climbed a cliff, jumped off the cliff, swam across a large body of water to get to an island. Then you got to climb a tree and be the first one back to finish a race. That is an ordeal. Once the tribal elders representative returned victorious, then you think that's the end of this. No, 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 no. Then the birdman would be sequestered. Wouldn't be allowed to go back home, family and friends, enjoy a nice meal. Oh no. The gift of the birdman is to then meditate in a hut for a year. And then bring the visions that you got during meditation back to the culture. Right. That's Makemake here at the 5th degree conjunct this new moon. What this new moon, for some people, is showing is that this is going to be the beginning of a testing period, a proving period. My guides kind of put it to me this way, that being a twin flame is the equivalent of the spiritual Olympics. Only the most trained, the most fit, the most committed and dedicated do this work, because it is work. With Makemake conjunct this new moon, the beginning of a proving period in the realm of relationships is upon us as twins. And specifically, the Divine Masculine had a big proving period this year with a 4-month retrograde of Jupiter in the sign of truth and higher ideals. 2 months on either side of that, you've got Jupiter in the shadow period, which meant that the entirety of that process for him, 4 + 4 makes 8. That's an 8-month window of time. This coming year, with Juno coming to sit and do a retrograde dance between the creation goddess and the shaman's asteroid in the sign of partnership, starting, she's going to enter Libra in November, but she's going to do that retrograde dance for about 9 months in her shadow period, and then her retrograde period, and then her shadow period again from about January to November. That is 9 months. Ironic how similar that is to the period of time during which a woman gives birth. She's got a 9-month stay between these two asteroids coming up in the sign of partnership, and the sign of balance, and the sign of justice, fairness, and equality and equity. So this particular new moon is the equivalent of kind of the recognition that you've been chosen by some of the tribal elders. This is the coming journey. I remember during the live channeling that I did not that long ago, I did a live channeling Q&A with my guides for people. Someone had asked, do twins in union still have all this heaviness? Or, do they, or or is union much easier? Or does union open up a whole new can of worms? And what my guide said is, oh no, they still have challenges. They still have challenges. What happens for them is that they are at a mastery level of being able to choose love over fear, love over fear, love over fear, to drop expectation, drop expectation, drop expectation, release the other from obligation, release them from obligation, release them from obligation. And so there's this energy of complete freedom that comes with their devotion and love. And as a result, they showed me it's a desire for their counterpart to stay inside of that field of love. The paradox of the freedom and the love or the freedom and the devotion is that they exist inside of the heart of love, because love doesn't control. So, yeah, whole new can of worms. You have been selected by the tribal elders. They have chosen you, Pikachu. And this stay of the divine feminine and the partnership sign, for some, this is going to represent the very beginning of union with their twin. And it will come with its challenges, because the divine masculine will be in a squaring sign. The squaring sign of Capricorn. For the entire year that she is sitting there, it's going to come with its challenges. And simultaneously, it's also going to be an opportunity for both twins to really show up and showcase what it looks like to represent the love of the divine in the world. And this new moon on 9/28 is the very, very beginning of us being clear about and getting the mirror of what type of love that we need to be ready to shine into our partnerships with our DM, DF, in our twin connection, in our relationships. If you've got a soulmate, what type of stand you are for fairness, for justice, for equity with your soulmate when it comes to the fact that your heart is in another place. This is a new moon that is asking us to start the process of naming and claiming what we are made of. The reason why it's so consequential is because Mercury and Venus are sitting so close here. Not for everything I just said. I mean, that's consequential enough. But Venus and the creation goddess and Mercury are all sitting so close together. The creation goddess birthed, the Hawaiian creation goddess, Haumea. She birthed everything from herself. Very similar to Gaia, mythology around Gaia. What she saw and what she said she wanted was given birth to on the planet. It came out of 5D, out of the ethers, and into the 3D. And with mind, consciousness, and communication, Mercury sitting with her, in addition to Venus, Venus being at its most neutral, attraction, glue, stickiness, magnetism. This particular new moon stands as our opportunity to call it out of the ether so that it can be birthed in the world at the end of that 9-month retrograde dance that Juno is getting ready to do inside the sign of Libra. This is big, people. It is significant. I'm getting the truth chills. It's exciting. So one of the things that I want to encourage everyone to do, masculine or feminine, we all have both polarities in us, is to be very, very extremely, exceptionally watchful with our words. It's already been shown to me, and I've talked about this in these videos, how powerful twin flames are in the world of creation as light workers, as magnified, amplified reflections of source. all light workers have this kind of capacity around, all humans are a reflection of the divine. But when you're a light worker, you carry even more God fractal inside of you. And around relationships, twins really are the leaders when it comes to partnership and relationship and the writing of the new rules for relationship on planet Earth at this time. So please be careful with your words. Be careful with what you say and what you think and what you allow yourself to feel inside of your heart, because you are amplifying and speaking directly to the heart of God, directly to the heart of the universe with everything during this new moon period. So, yeah. Actually, I am going to do that because I know everyone doesn't listen to the general video, and I feel like this just needs to be shared. For those of you incarnate in a female body in this incarnation. And so, I understand that there may be some viewers who are transgender. Look for the energy that resonates most for you. But if you are also biologically at birth assigned the female gender, given female gender, this is also going to apply to you. Not as much, but it will still apply. So for those of you women who are in the childbearing years, if you are a woman who notices that you happen to bleed with the new moon, and at this time, prior to this new moon, or just on the other side, if you have recollection when you're listening to this video, during this time, you'll find yourself seated in the womb of wisdom, or as I call it, the truth-telling time before you bleed. In Western cultures, we call this PMS, and it has so much pejorative, negative connotation. However, for women who are, really studying how to honor and hone their divinity as women, including all of their physical body, before your moon time comes, you can really utilize all of the pre-moon time tension, all of that surfacing and eruption of emotions that comes forward to surface the truth of what you want to manifest. With this new moon and that Juno retrograde in Libra, you can surface the truth of what you want to manifest in relationship with those tensions that arise. So the trick is to not get stuck in the negative feelings if they come up. The negative feelings come up. What you're going to want to do is feel them, notice the wounding that's there, and then take the opportunity while you're still in that intensified state of feeling to write down or to name out loud or to consciously notate in your own mind. That's that Mercury energy. I see this pain, and the solution I want to create on planet Earth for everyone who has lived this is give yourself the opportunity to name and claim the kind of world you want to live in as it comes to relationships and partnerships. Okay? Feel it, but then use your wisdom to conjure up what's next. For those of you who bleed with the full moon, during this new moon, you're going to be ovulating. During ovulation time, you are at your most magnetic. Research has shown that a woman in ovulation, her voice gets more melodic and pleasing to the ear. Her face gets more symmetrical. She actually is at her peak in energy and vibrational states during her ovulation time. No matter where your sun or moon falls, if you are ovulating with this new moon, you are going to be very sticky in the realm of relationship and partnership. And this is your new moon to notice what's coming back to you, what's being reflected to you in the mirror with this new moon. Is it what you want to create? Is it not? And then you can start to notate again while you're at this peak of energy. Start to notate, write it down. That's Mercury. Name it out loud, Mercury. Claim it in your mind. This is what I want to create in relationship going forward in the name of fairness, balance, justice, and equity. That's what you want to how you want to utilize this new moon energy. Because once you started to claim that, then the universe can start to put that in motion, so that when Juno comes to hang out here after all of these planets have left, except for the creation goddess and the shaman's asteroid, it's almost like we know which event you are going to be doing at the Olympics. Are we doing figure skating in your world? Are we doing running? Are we doing gymnastics? Are we doing, some sort of team sport? That this is kind of setting yourself up for, okay, and this channeling in, focusing in on, this is what I want. Because the mind of the divine feminine at this time is sitting inside Virgo, which is the sign of discernment. Right as we enter this new moon, she's sitting here right smack in the middle of the sign of discernment, getting the wisdom about what she wants and what she doesn't want anymore, what can stand and what can no longer stand. Virgo is the sign of distinguishing things one from another. And so you may find at this time, and throughout the course of this year, as you've listened to these videos, and if this is your first video, you may find that this energy is coming with an amount of tension and a series of endings, as all of this energy here in Libra is squaring off with all of this energy here in in Capricorn. Capricorn and Libra sit at a 90-degree angle from one another, and this energy that's been going all year it's very karmic. It's bringing chickens home to roost. It is cleaning house. It is creating endings and not beginnings. So depending upon how this energy is playing out in your chart, you may be scheduled for a reunion with your twin at this time, an ending with your twin, so that both of you can move into a much needed healing cycle and then come into reunion when that's done, or an ending with a soulmate so that a new beginning can occur with your twin. And all of that really depends on the location of the divine feminine and the divine masculine in your individual charts and in your union chart. I've read for some people this week who are about to move into a 9-month reunion window, but they just haven't utilized any of the preceding energy to be in communication at all. And so this 9-month window is just going to get them to the step of being in more regular communication. I've read for other people this week who are already in communication, and it's like there's some real possibility that reunion could happen during this 9-month window if each of them are willing to do the work. And that's some of the work we've already talked about, right? Around being fair to yourself, fair to another, fair in the context of the connection. And there are others still who, this week I've spoken to who, their twin has stood in non-communication for an extended period of time, and will continue to, because this is part of the work they need to do. Their reunion time is scheduled for much later. Their communication time is scheduled for a little bit later in 2020. So if you're curious about how this breaks down for the two of you in your chart, their chart and your union chart, email me at chrysalismoon@gmail.com, KRYSALISMOON@gmail.com. We'll have a look at this in your charts so that you can be prepared for what to expect and how to utilize this new moon as you move into the Juno retrograde period that starts in November, because this really is the setup. The other energy that's really interesting here is we've got Pallas here. Pallas Athena sitting here at 12 degrees Scorpio. She's roughly 3 degrees sextile off from Juno, the divine feminine, sitting in the sign of discernment and distinguishing things, and 5 degrees off in sextile from the divine masculine here at 17 degrees. With Pallas sitting in a sextile to both of these energies in the sign of alchemy, transformation, change. This brings an even more interesting energy to the table, especially for those of you who are on the precipice of some form of reunion, even if it's just a communication window opening for the two of you. With Pallas sitting here, Pallas, she's known as the counterpart to Mars, the female counterpart to Mars, goddess of war, but she's also known as a protector of the forest, a protector of the animals, the flora and the fauna, and inside of the sign of alchemy. So Scorpio governs exchange points, where two people make one energy and a third is born, where two people can come together and exchange value through the form of money and investments, where death occurs. It is neither life inside of a body, nor is it the afterlife outside of a body. Scorpio governs all of these exchange points, and with the protector sitting inside Scorpio, making a sextile energy both to the divine feminine and the divine masculine, each of you is invested in protecting the work you have done up to this point. Actually, this isn't a full sextile out here to him. He's actually just more like 30. He's actually just 30 degrees away. But for the divine feminine, there's an amount of work you have done where you are committed to protecting that. You're not interested in giving that up, where you're not supposed to give that up at this time in any capacity, where the trick for you is going to be learning, okay, if reunion is upon me, how do I do this in such a way where I'm not giving up anything that I have learned or worked for or ways that I have grown? If we're coming back together in any form, even if it's just the occasional communicative email or text message, if that is going to happen, how do I do that in such a way where I am not surrendering the growth I've worked so hard for? And this is going to take work. Sextiles take work to figure out how to get the benefit of. It's possible to get the benefit of them. There's benefit there, but it doesn't just flow to you. You actually have to do the work of them. With the divine masculine sitting here in almost a square, 2 degrees off from the divine feminine, he's really not aware of everything she has been through, because he's been through all of his own stuff. She's not really aware of everything he's been through. They haven't fully gotten into the communication around that yet. That's going to come. The thing to keep in mind is that as we move into this period of time, this very Libra, very fair, very balanced, very just energy is with Chiron in the sign of the self, opposite the sign of partnership. Specifically this new moon, it's 2 degrees off in opposition. There is a tension here around what I need to be doing to heal myself and what the relationship needs in order to have its new beginning, because there is a new beginning here. The two things are 180 degrees in opposite directions. This gives us the choice to take a look at, if I'm going to play either or because my life requires it or because I'm ready to give up something in order to have something else I want more. If I'm going to play either or, what do I need to do to stay truthful to my healing, to keep healing myself, so that the new beginning that maybe I can't quite see yet can thrive, because it only thrives with the both and. So here's the both and with an opposition. If the truth is that my healing is over here and the kind of relationship that I want is over there, what's going to be required of me in order to have both? That's the kind of question an opposition asks of us. And that answer may not be readily apparent, regardless of whether you're divine feminine or divine masculine. It may not be readily apparent, or it may require, again, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer all sit on the cardinal axis. This is the axis of initiating change. It may require the cost of putting certain things down so that you can pick other things up. So if you're curious about any of that, definitely let me know. We'll have a look at your chart. You'll get the autoresponder first. It'll show you how to book. If you miss the autoresponder, check your spam. Check your spam folders, check your filters so that you can get on the calendar for October 1st through the 15th and get prepared for the way this energy coming in November is going to play out. Okay, let's see. Any other notes here? We talked about Pallas. We talked about the creation goddess and Mercury conjunct. Great. Ooh. Very important here. Venus at 17 degrees Libra sits in a sextile to the 17-degree mark of Sagittarius. This is interesting, right? So there's a couple ways that this could be read. I want to see if I can cover all of them. Hopefully my brain will allow me to remember all three different ways this could be read. The first way, with all of this magnetic, sticky energy, this new beginning energy here, is that the divine masculine, as he comes out of his retrograde shadow degrees, he's got 3 more degrees to go before he's fully out of shadow. He already knows the truth of his situation, what he needs to do in order to have what he wants, and to get to his highest ideals. But Venus here is now making it possible, if he's willing to do a little bit of work, to get a lot of bit of result during this period of time. So that's really interesting. That's one way this energy could play out. Because, with Jupiter being kind of the outer planet here, and Jupiter also representing opportunities for things to start to unfold, Jupiter casting that light on Venus, and Venus being glue, he's kind of sucking the Venusian glue toward him, the attractive energy toward him, and making himself magnetic if he's willing to do a little bit of work. Simultaneously, he's bringing opportunity to this sphere of new beginnings. There's an openness here to some sort of new beginning on the divine masculine's part, if he's willing to do a little bit of work around it. So again, that's going to really depend on your DM's chart, your union chart, whether or not that's you and his new beginning in terms of union. Another way that this could play out is, and I hate to say this, but I want to make it really plain for those of you who are experiencing this, because I've seen some of your comments. This new moon can also be coinciding with the entrance of some sort of soulmate who's there to help facilitate some lessons in love for your twin. And so not to fear or fret if that is the case. We've got, some interesting Venusian retrograde energies coming along in the spring. And as you know, soulmates are meant to evolve and dissolve. It's the twin who sticks. So allow the lesson. Be at peace with this. For whatever reason, the entrance of this person at this time is meant to help prepare the divine masculine's heart, given everything he now knows, for a path of fairness, justice, equity, and truth. For whatever reason, this preparation wasn't going to be able to be done with your twin. That preparation is something he needed to be able to do with somebody else. And so you can trust that if somebody else has arrived on the scene during this new moon period, I mean, Venus moves so quick. She's got a retrograde coming up. Don't get your panties in a bunch about it. Trust that this is part of the divine process, and that your story with your twin is not over, but it is part of the process and it is part of the work, both for you and for him. It's part of the work of preparing you, and it's also part of the work for preparing him. Now, the third way I can see this playing out for the divine masculine is depending upon what houses, and for this you would need his birth time, depending upon what houses are governed by Jupiter in his chart. This could be money, honey, like good money. If he's doing a bit of work on something, this could be a project with a partner that pans out into cash. Really good money for him. So in all cases, no matter what the situation is, please be careful and watchful with your words. Utilize this, all feelings that come up, all mirrors that arise, to call forward the highest good for all involved. And that reminds me, I did forget to address one thing. I think I forgot. I don't know. Maybe I need a snack. I might be hungry because I feel like this is going a little long. But the quick note that I wanted to say about using this moon, because I addressed women who bleed with the new, women who bleed with the full. I don't know that I addressed women in the wisdom years. I may have. If you're a woman in your wisdom years, just know that both things can occur for you. Both the mirror of a woman who ovulates with the attraction stuff can come toward you so that you can go, I choose this, not that. Thank you for showing me how I was vibrating. Not that. Yes, definitely this. That's going to come forward if you're a woman in your wisdom years, but so too will some of the tension of what, truth-telling time may have been about for you in your younger years. Your younger years, we got that split, that duality where we get, the two things at separate times. But once you grow into your wisdom years, you have the capacity to channel it all at the same time, and to handle it all at the same time when the universe shows it to you. Because you're just wiser, you're just smarter. You've been on planet Earth longer. It doesn't take you as long to process stuff. So be prepared for either one to come back to you, and to utilize both to work with your mind, your words, and your energy to conjure that which you would like to see in the world. All right. Okay, yes, one last thing. All year long, Mars has been in this kind of tag team with the divine feminine. Now, it's it's funny. Some of you are going to listen to what I'm about to say and call this karma and say that's what I get. But this tag team between Mars and Juno, and it won't be karma, it'll just be what was scheduled for the two of you, has been, Mars kind of acts as the divine feminine soulmate, where Venus kind of acts as the divine masculine soulmate, if you will. And again, soulmates evolve and dissolve, right? It's the twin that sticks. With Mars and Juno having been in this very intimate dance all the way from since spring, since, Pisces season, these two have been back and forth with one another, doing this kind of dance. Men who aren't twins are noticing the divine feminine's light and are out here kind of going, yummy, yummy. Can I have some of that? Who are you? And why can't I stop being attracted to you? Why am I so drawn to you? During this period of time, you may have engaged or entertained a soulmate, or a soulmate may have been present in your world prior to this, and you have moved during this year into a period of time of it may be time to bring this toward completion, because these two really started doing their dance back during Aries season, where all this karmic energy was going on. It was always going on in Capricorn. Thanks so much. And these two are squaring signs. His arrival on the scene, or your awareness about what's about your current soulmate relationship, if it predates Mars's arrival on the scene. Now at this time of this year, you see the two of these starting to separate. They're now 11 degrees apart. With this 11 degrees apart energy, and they're only going to get wider and wider as she starts to slow down, this is starting to indicate a drifting apart of the divine feminine from her soulmate. That's one way to interpret this energy. This is the two of them, the divine feminine recognizing it's time for you to go your way and for me to go mine. I've got some preparation work I need to do for the next stage of my journey. And I wish you well. And trust me, he's going to land on his feet right here. Mars just moves right into all this Libra, yummy, juicy partnership energy. He's going to be just fine. You don't need to worry about his broken heart. There will be somebody there to help him heal it. He'll be all right. There's that. It's one way that this could be interpreted, that you now smack dab in the middle of the sign of discernment and distinction and distinguishing things and dedication are now getting clear. Okay, there's some work I'm ready to now do as it pertains to my connection with my twin that I can't do in connection with a soulmate. And that's, again, that Chiron energy here going, ooh, can I do what I need to do for my connection and for myself at the same time? So there's some insight upon divine feminines around what needs to be going on with divine masculines at this time. The other thing here with this Mars conjunct Juno, another way that this could be interpreted, depending upon your chart and what's going on in it, and your twin's chart, is that there are certain business partnerships at this time, like you've kind of known all year with this Mars, which is just ambition and motivation and drive and passion, and Juno, which is partnerships. A little bit all year, like, I want this, not that. That feels good, but this doesn't. Oh, yes, this allows me to foster partnership. This makes me want to run away from partnership. There's just been this motivational energy on the divine feminine's neck about partnerships all year long. And so as Mars starts to make its separation from its, year-long dance with Juno, Um, what's going on now is Juno is taking all of the information she gathered from her dance with Mars, about what motivates her, what inspires her, what calls her forward in partnership. She's going to take all of that now that she's sitting in this sign of distinction and distinguishing things, Virgo, and release the teacher and step in to embodying her learning. So you may notice that there are some partnerships, Mars being the ruler of a sign that sits square to all of this karmic energy in Capricorn. You may that just dissolve at this time. They've run their course in the world of business, in the world of maybe property management. Again, all of this really depends on what house this is relating to for you. So yeah, that's another really big energy here. So yeah, big times, big times. This is all part of the divine prep leading us into 2020. If you've not watched the Cancer Capricorn eclipse videos, or a video that I put out that talks about all of the eclipses on this Capricorn Cancer axis, because this particular new moon is lighting up the learnings from those eclipses. And the Capricorn Cancer eclipses to come, please have a look at that video. It's going to help you discern some of what your lessons are at this time. And if you'd like me to have a look at your chart, you know what to do. chrysalismoon@gmail.com. You'll get the autoresponder. Check your spam if you missed it, or your promotions folder. Go ahead and book. October 1st through the 15th is open. It's been so beautiful reading for you. I look forward to hearing how this resonates for you in the comments.